Laitilan kukko. Pils. Cheers. Just got back from the track. Okay, so I made a Facebook post yesterday. 0 people understood it. And that's probably because you haven't heard the... Ibagi, okay, I'm done. That's probably because you haven't heard the podcast yet. You need to go and listen to the podcast because I made a post. What would change RC? And then everyone seemed to miss that I answered the question. I wrote 100 people. That was the answer. But then I got like 17,000 comments and discussions and people talking about what would... No, I already answered 100 people. So just go and listen to the No Name RC podcast. Check it out. It's pretty good. And yeah, 100 people was the answer. No need to go crazy. No need to spam my Facebook. Okay, 1 person. Salty Joe, he got it. Okay, so what's the number? We're gonna do Q&A until we hit the number. And actually, I have a call in 45 minutes, so no wrenching today. We're just gonna talk about the Xray, Kyosho, associated JQ cars, and we're gonna talk about Camber. But before that, Q&A until we hit the secret number. What's the secret number this time? Someone pick a number. When we have that amount of viewers, we're gonna start. Q&A until that, so just ask questions. Ask away. 101. Okay, 101. I think we can do better than 101. Come on. No Name RC podcast needs to be on a better platform. What's a better platform, Gary? Your last video helped me so much understanding what my car was doing and why. Thanks for all your insight and time. No idea what that video was, but glad it helped. I guess it's 101 then. Okay, so spam away. Share this. Ask your mother nicely to watch. Whatever you need so we can get more people. Matthias Wikstedt says 69 when we have 96 people viewing. Jesus Christ. Ronne Falk says 128. Okay, we have accepted the new challenge from Sweden. 128 people. When we have 128 people, that's when we start. So just ask questions until then. And remember, we only have 45 minutes. So if we don't reach 128 people, then you're not going to hear what I have to say about the Kyosho, the Xray. I tried C-Hub and Pivot Ball. Yeah, so you better share this. Ask your mom to watch. Maybe, you know, maybe spam certain people. Just gonna leave it at that. 107. It's going up, thanks. You're doing a good job. No one has any questions. I'm a bit disappointed. I was hoping to be able to answer some questions here. Nothing? That's it? Everyone knows everything? Okay, I'll just check my email then. Okay, someone asking something. I ordered 17.5 degree C-Hubs a few weeks ago. Are they back ordered? Okay. I was hoping for some serious questions. If I ever make 17.5 C-Hubs, shoot me, okay? I'll go to America specifically so someone can shoot me if I make 17.5 C-Hubs. Talk about tire treads. What about tire treads? Tire treads are boring, and you know what? We went 126 and then 125. Jesus. 127, 125. We just need one more person. How you want us to listen to the podcast if you haven't posted it yet? That's on Lefty. Lefty the Great. He's on Dominican time, you know. Well, give or take 5 hours, it will be up. Should be up already. Okay, 126. Come on, people. Can we start this? Are you going to give lap times with your test info? I don't know, because we don't. There we go, 128. Lawyer said not to spam. Yeah, I know, but I was kind of trying to hint at you, you know. I didn't say anything bad, but, you know, you kind of knew what to do. Lap times. Yeah, I told lap times last time. Did you forget? Google Podcasts is better than Podbean. Why? No Mugen, no party. Maybe I don't have a Mugen. I need to get a Mugen. What do you think about Lutz on the Beach RC RCGP team? I think it's good. He's going to mix it up at the front. When JQ launches 1/5 electric touring car? Never. I think the second Beach RC driver is chosen already. Just not announced. HB or Kyosho? For what? Kind of depends on what you want to do. But if I was a customer, I'd pick the Kyosho. Sorry, HB. I hate your hinge pins. Is David Ronefalk a good driver? No. He's great. Great driver. You're asking all the questions after I'm supposed to start this. Ever mix HB yellow in front or rear and grey front or rear? Yeah, I've run HB yellow front, JQ grey rear sometimes. Where is my diff holder top part? Most likely in China. You need to one up everyone and make quarter increments. For what? Oh yeah, for the C-hubs. 18.5, no. Okay, there we go. Caught up with the comments now. Sorry guys. Question Q&A is over because we reached 128. Pierre Ronefalk said at 128 we have to start, and that's what we're gonna do. 130 people watching. What was I supposed to talk about? Oh yeah, Xray. Yeah man, look at this baby. I stole Teppo Kaupinen's car. So at my home track we have 10 scale and 8 scale at the same track, and we share the same pits. So this fool was running 10 scale because there's a 10 scale race coming up, and he left his 8 scale in the pits. So when he went to run some 10 scale, I stole his 8 scale. He's basically finding out now on the Facebook Live. I saw he was watching. So anyway, he had a C-hub on this thing first. And Xray, you know, forward thinking as they are, they went back to their 2000, let me think now. 2005? They went back to their 2005 Xray by re-releasing their C-hub, okay? And I was curious to see how the car would handle. So C-hub car, run it, and then put the pillow ball on and run the car. Because what, you know, armchair quarterback engineer that I am, when Xray released this, I went ahead and said, you know what, that's not gonna be very awesome. Everyone's gonna pick one and that's it. Because you can't have the same car, same rear end, same settings on both front ends, because they work differently. So, you think I was right or what? So here's the deal. I ran the C-hub car like Teppo had it, and I had to make some modifications. I think because he retired for a few years and then came back, it was just a bit too slow for me. Not enough steering, so I shortened the rear link here. I went to the middle from all the way along. That helped a lot. I got more steering. Wasn't a fan of his shock package. He had, was it six 1.4s in the rear, and it wasn't good. It was like, we have some really bad high-speed bumps on the track, and the rear would pogo stick on them. So I went to 8, I think these are 8-hole. I think he wrote on them. 8-hole 1.3s on the rear. It was pretty good. Stopped pogoing on the rear. But anyway, the C-Hub Xray, it was very easy to drive. It pushed a bit. It was very calm and stable. He has a lot of droop. It was just easy to drive. Once I got used to it, I was really fast with it. I actually matched the lap times that I did with the Associated. So I was pretty impressed. But I could only go fast if I found the groove, the flow, and I was driving, you know, alone on the track. Like, I couldn't take any different lines. Like, I had to hit my line perfectly because I didn't really have enough steering. So, okay, so I ran it for a bit, and then I went to the pillow ball setting. So just bolted the pillow balls on, same shock, same everything, put the car on the track, boom, I had the steering I needed. The car still felt very stable and easy to drive. I just had more steering. So where the C-Hub pushed mid to exit of the corner, this thing with the pillow balls, it would just continue steering. So I went in the corner and then I had good steering mid to exit. And that's exactly what I expected would happen. And that's also why I felt that I don't think you can have a C-Hub car and pillow ball car as they are designed now with the same rear end setup. Because on the C-Hub car, the rear end setting was too grippy. Like, I had too much rear grip, not enough steering. So I had to reduce rear grip to get steering. On the pillow ball car, because the front end turns so much more, you can get away with running a grippy rear end setup. I could probably go to that longer link now and have more rear grip and still have enough steering with the pillow balls. So with the pillow ball setup, you know, I can set the car up to have more grip yet still have steering. And this track was, this track is kind of medium to low grip, a bit dusty, a bit of a groove forms, quite rough, you know, so that's the style of track. So overall, I would say the C-Hub was easier to drive. The C-Hub was easier to drive because the steering was linear, consistent. You kind of always knew what was going to happen and you never lost the rear end. It was just easy to drive. You want to do a chicane, you do a chicane. You know, hairpin, off power, on power, everything. It just feels comfortable because you always have rear grip. It doesn't want to oversteer, understeer, anything. It just turns as much as you turn the wheel. So it feels very comfortable. Like the Kyosho or JQ car, similar. But it pushed a bit. I'm sure you could get it to turn also, changing settings, whatever. But just going to the pillow ball, yes, a bit harder to drive because the steering isn't as linear, consistent anymore. The steering is different on and off power. It's different mid to exit in like different speeds. The pillow ball makes it so you have to kind of be on top of it a bit because at some point maybe the car hooks a bit. It turns more and you might lose the rear end. So the steering is a bit more inconsistent, so you really have to be in tune with the car. So C-Hub was easier, pillow ball was faster on the Xray. Okay, and then let's try and conclude a bit. So I tried this Xray, thanks Teppo. You'll probably get it back before the race on Saturday. Tried my MP9 Kyosho. By the way, I'm still mad at Kyosho. I bought this car. I bought it with my own money. I think from A-Main Hobbies. I can't remember. And then I entered the Kyosho Masters and they wouldn't let me race. They said I'm not allowed to race. I said I'm a customer. The rules just say just open for all Kyosho customers. I'm a Kyosho customer, I bought the car, but they wouldn't let me race. I'm still mad at them. I still haven't forgiven them. So anyway, I tried the Kyosho. Tried the Associated World Champion. Not this one though. This is Arto Heinonen's car. He's the world's worst mechanic. I had to rebuild everything. Geez, let's not get into that. That's a whole separate Facebook Live. Maintenance is key, people. He's gonna have his best race ever now. On Saturday, I predict Arto will have his best result ever in 8 scale. Because he's gonna get this car back that I've driven and worked on. Also tried this. Some Finnish village idiot thought he could design a car. He made this hunk of crap. Okay. So what did I learn? What did I learn? I tried all these cars for a few days and tried different settings, even, you know, balls, no balls, you know. I went full Savoia, you know. We all know Savoia likes balls, okay? So today we installed the balls on the Xray. And yeah, so what was the point? What did we learn? Okay, number one, they were all good. All the cars were good. All the cars were capable of turning fast laps, were capable of being consistent in my hands. I could do 5-minute clean runs. So basically I just disproved something. I disproved the myth of the grass is greener on the other side. Because that's what people often think. They think that if I had that car, then I'd be faster. Then they have it, well, maybe I should have that car and then I'll be faster. And that's not how it works. You need to pick one car that you're happy with and then stick with that and work with that and figure out your setup that you like and just make the most of the equipment you have. That's how you're gonna get the best results. I guarantee it. All these cars that I tried are capable. They're all different. They have different traits, characteristics. But I think a good driver can do the same with any of these cars. I think so. Now there are certain, let's put it this way. A good driver can win with any of these cars. But there are certain differences. So, this is kind of how I would put it. The Kyosho, this is the MP9 by the way, not the MP10. MP9 is super stable, okay? You have to be you have to really try very hard, and you have to have a special knack, like a special talent for fucking things up to make the car bad. Seriously. Like, the car is so good that you just kind of build it approximately right, and it's still gonna be good. It's gonna work. It's gonna do the right thing on the track. So it's so stable and safe that it's kind of a bit slow also. So to get the very best lap times, you have to get the camber adjustment just right. You have to get droop just right. You have to get everything just right. And you have to drive aggressively to match the lap times of, the fastest drivers out there. So there's that. But for your average guy, super easy, and most likely they'll have the best results with this type of car. The Xray with the C-hub on was very similar to this. It had a bit of a different feel. The Kyosho was still it felt light and responsive. The Xray felt kind of a bit heavier and calmer. But they had this same sort of safe feel that they have traction, push a bit, easy to drive. It's just that the Kyosho felt a bit more sort of light on the track than the Xray. Then I would say that then the JQ car is similar to them, but it's a bit more nimble. So you have more steering, it's a bit more aggressive, but it's still, you can feel a similarity there. You can still feel that, oh, the steering is linear, I have grip, I turn with traction. The car is still easy to drive in that respect. But it's naturally faster. So I think you have more steering, it carries more corner speed, and also the window for the setup isn't as wide as on the Kyosho, for example. So you don't have to be as talented at messing things up to make the JQ car bad. You just have to be you just have to try a bit, and you can probably make it handle less than perfectly, okay? You don't need that last bit of talent. Like with the Kyosho, you have to be really talented at making things bad, and then it's bad. You can kind of be average with the JQ and you can make it bad. You still have to try, but it's possible. And then Xray with pivot balls still had that same sort of safe feeling that you have traction, but it kind of catches you out from time to time. The pillow balls, it adds steering, it makes it a bit inconsistent. So sometimes you're going around the track and you'll just oversteer and you'll be whoops. So you have to kind of know what you're doing, because where the C-hub was always the same steering everywhere, you're kind of predictable, the pillow ball kind of grabs at some point. So maybe you go into a corner and mid-corner, boom, you just lose the rear because you oversteer. Maybe you've gone on the gas a bit and the car slowed a bit, hit a bump, you get on the gas, boom, oversteer. So a bit harder to drive than the 3C hub cars, I would say, but it still has this safe feel to it. Then the Associated, and the Associated was really fast. So even when I didn't really feel like I had such a good lap, it was still a good lap. But I was like all over the place. And why was I all over the place? Because this was the hardest car to drive. It drove like the front end was super aggressive and the rear was kind of just sliding around. And when I first got it, the problem was the front we're back. Connection available. Okay, I was saying about the Associated, I don't know if you missed that. The front end would turn and then straighten out and go. It felt like the rear end would continue the turn. So you are already going straight with the front end and the rear end would kind of want to turn the car. So it was really weird to drive. It was like the front and the rear end weren't from the same car. So I had to figure something out, change settings, work on it, and it improved. But it still had that characteristic of the front end was very dominant and the rear end was kind of just sliding around behind it. So it's very aggressive, a lot of steering, a lot of corner speed. So it's very fast, but that makes it a bit harder to drive than the others. So it's not as safe. When you first pick it up and drive, you have to get used to it. Where if you grab the MP9 and you just do a lap, immediately you can do a lap. Like, oh, this is easy. With the Associated, you grab it, you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You learn for 2 laps. Then you start building speed, then you can be fast. So that's sort of the difference. And like I said in the beginning, so this is the first date. Okay? This is the first date. Everyone's different. And then after a while you realize that, you know what? Yeah, let's not go down that road. But you sort of realize that they're all the same. All the cars can be good. All the cars can work. It just when you first try something, you might think that, Jesus Christ, this was so fast. Oh my God. Geez, the car was so easy to drive. Oh my man, like the way this car like just handled the jumps and the landings, it was just amazing. Man, the acceleration and the steering on this car, it was just... There we go, there we go. What was I saying? Yeah. So when you first try a car, the reason people always think that this car doesn't suit me, or this car will be better for me. The reason they think that is, let's say their car pushes, and then they try a car and it has steering, and they think, wow, this car has steering, it's a lot better, I'd probably be faster with this car. Then they start running that car, and then they run it for a bit more and they realize, well, with my old car, it pushed a bit, but it was stable and I never had a problem of oversteer or losing the rear end or being bad in bumps. But now I do. And now I make mistakes and I crash on certain tracks, you know? So, go back 5 minutes. I just kind of re-said what I was saying. So, the reason that people think that the grass is greener on the other side is because they try a car and that's their first date. They go on a first date with their new car and they like something about it. They like how smooth it is in the bumps, or they like how much steering it has, or they like how much traction it has. And it's different from their car that they're running. And they think, wow, this car is a lot better. I would do better with this car. Well, the truth is, then if they switch and they go to that car will have something that it doesn't do as well as the old one. So it's just this sort of first date, first love thing. Oh, this car is much better than what I have. I'm going to do better with this. So then they say, oh, my car doesn't suit me. I'll be faster with something else. They try something else because initially they think it's better. After they run on various different tracks and they actually race with it, they come to find that it's not better, it's just different. It does some things better, other things worse. And their results stay the same. Sometimes, I would say if you aren't good at setting up a car and you just sort of copy what other people do, then maybe there is one car which is the best for you because you have sort of the best support or best people that you can ask for help. Then there could be a car that's best for you. But if you are someone who you do the work yourself and you figure out the setup and you make a car work for you, then you can make any of these cars the best for you. That's kind of my point. I could run the Xray, I could run the Kyosho, I could run the Associated, or I could run the JQ, and I'm pretty sure I could do the same results. That's just how it is. One day, I hope that I can honestly say that when I run the JQ, I'll have the best results. I need to make a whole new car for that. Then we can talk about that. But for now, any of these cars, you can make the best for you. I guarantee it. 100% sure. I go for the support. Yeah, there's plenty of JQ support. It depends on where you live. What I mean, like every region has more of a certain brand of car. And not only that, like who your friends are. What do your friends run? And if you have more experienced friends or who are better drivers, for example, or better at setting up the car, it makes sense to run what they run if you want advice. Yeah. Maybe if 100 people were working on my internet, I'll be good. Yeah, the whole 100 people thing, let's talk about that a bit. That's my favorite subject right now. You're going to hear a lot about it on the podcast, but basically, Keenan said that if 100 people joined RC in America, then it would change RC. And that's like if I swam in the Pacific Ocean and I pissed in it, then yes, the Pacific Ocean would change. Technically it would, because I just peed in it. But actually it doesn't make any difference, because it's just a drop in the ocean, you know. Keenan had a really hard time understanding that, so it's a good rant, I'd say. You should listen to the new podcast. I haven't tried the 8X. If you swam in the ocean, hopefully you die. Now Keenan's mad. See, I called him out. Okay, so yeah, that's all I have to say about those cars. So I explained the Xray, the C-Hub, and Pillow Ball. Some cars are more stable, kind of push a bit. You have to make a setup to where you have enough steering, but they're sort of always easy to drive. Other cars are naturally more fast. So the easier to drive cars, you have to push, you have to drive more aggressively to go fast. Then the cars that are naturally more fast, you don't need to drive that hard. Like, you can kind of cruise a bit more, but the car itself is a bit harder to drive because it's nervous. So it's kind of a, I don't know, 50-60 thing. On one hand, the car is easy to drive, but if you really want to go fast, you have to be kind of really perfect and push it. And then when the car is fast, it's harder to drive, but you don't need to drive that hard. You can kind of cruise a bit and you'll be fast. And then if you're on Garo, you can just, you know, have a car that's a bit harder to drive, but you don't cruise. Just go for it. You dominate. But there's only one on Garo, right? The biggest mistake people make is driving everyone else's setup. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, you really, if you want to make the most of it, you have to figure out setup for yourself, so you know what to do, because everyone has a different driving style. Why don't you have a dog? I explain all about dogs on the podcast, I think. I'm not a fan of dogs. Xray is a pivot ball car. C-Hub on an Xray. What? If that's English, I don't get it. I don't believe in violence against animals, so I wouldn't kick the dog after every podcast. Okay, was there something else we still needed to cover? Talked about Camber. Let's talk about Camber. I almost forgot. Camber. Are you ready for this? Because this, my friends, is going to be insane. I am about to blow your minds right now. I bet you, out of the 148 people, 151 people watching, no one has done this. So I've explained before how Camber makes a big difference. Camber, you know? Camber. 0 is vertical, negative when you lean the wheel in. On the first JQ car, camber didn't make any difference really. You could adjust your cambers wherever, it didn't make much of a difference. That's because the wheel angles were all over the place, you know? So I was learning. I didn't know what I was doing. With the Black Edition, if you just adjust the camber a bit, you'll notice a significant difference on the track because the car is designed better. So the wheels are at the correct angles when you drive around the track for more of that lap. So if before, on the yellow edition, let's say there's a correct setting for the wheel angles, tire angles on the track to give you the most traction. On the old car, on the original car, yellow edition, let's say for 10% of the lap, they were actually correct. And for the rest, they were all over the place. So if you adjusted camber a bit, it doesn't make a big difference. Only sort of that, it moves that window for that 10%. Doesn't make a big difference really, because the angles are all over the place. Then you have a black edition where for 90%, let's say 90% of the lap, the angles are like really good. You have good grip on the car because of how it's designed. So then 90% of the lap, your tires are at correct angles within a sort of a working range. Now if you adjust camber, you'll notice a bigger difference. You'll notice it in feel and lap time, because most of the time the tires are at the correct angles. So now just changing the camber half a degree or 1 degree will make a big difference. So I can't stress this enough, how important this is. If your car, for example, you go in a corner and your rear is loose, it wants to spin out mid-corner, you don't really necessarily need to change anything other than camber. Maybe you just reduce rear camber a bit. You stand up your rear tires a bit. Maybe it grips that much more in the corner that it solves the problem. Or maybe your car feels really good and balanced, but it's a bit loose. And you go, well, what if I just reduce camber a bit? Maybe you reduce camber front and rear equally, just slightly. Maybe you have more grip, so you should try those kind of things. And also, the real best way to do this is, we've kind of gone 2.0 on this. So have someone in pit lane, adjust your front camber, add some more. You're driving and add some more. And then you kind of feel a difference. And when it starts getting worse, go back. Find the sweet spot. And then you have a sort of balance that, okay, now the front feels good, rear feels good. This is as good as it gets. 2.0 camber setting. We tried this with Max in Italy. It's incredible. I mean, crazy. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you because this is so crazy. I think you guys aren't going to believe me, but you should try this. Try this on a, probably any track, but I would think that if you have a grooved up track, pretty smooth, consistent, you'll notice the difference when you do this. Okay, you take your tire, you drive your car, you take a temp gun, you check tire temperature, outside, inside. You check the difference, outside, inside, do a few different spots. Amazingly, there will be a difference. There will be a clear difference there. You tune your camber to where they match. So if the outside, of your tire is cooler than the inside, reduce camber, okay? If the outside is hotter than the inside, then add more camber. Do that for shits and giggles to where you match inside and outside temperatures. Do it. Anthony, you don't need to do it because you're a waste of space. So it's not going to make much of a difference. You crash too much for that to actually matter. So anyway, try that. That's camber tuning 2.0. Okay, now we're gonna let Anthony ask the last question. Gary is saying, getting dangerously close to tire warmer territory. Not even close. That's a completely different ball game. Okay, Shane is gonna do it. I'm a goon, but at least my son isn't an Alessi. Mason Alessi. Also desert people. Reactive caster. I think that's just gonna overcomplicate things and make steering even more inconsistent. I think, don't the Mugen guys sometimes run that? Maybe I should try it now. I have the Xray pivot ball car here. Why don't you ride dirt bike and give up RC since you're slow? Because I'm even slower on my dirt bike. That's why. Why is it that almost all popular brands have adopted long rear links? Front ends seem to be similar to when everybody was running shorter rear links back in the days. Like who? Who has long rear links? I mean, the pillow ball cars have long rear links, wide pivot. I don't know, you have to be more specific, man. One day people will realize you can't offend JQ. Give up, Anthony. Yeah, I showed Anthony a picture of my dirt bike and I don't have graphics. And Anthony was somehow, I don't know, he was almost offended. He was almost offended that I didn't have graphics. Very strange. Losi honestly, they don't have it. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Losi don't know what the hell they're doing, okay? They have Savoya who loves balls, but he can't have balls, and he's stuck kind of figuring things out for them at the factory because they don't know what they're doing. And I don't know, I'm not convinced that Savoya knows what he's doing either, because the only time he's been fast since he left Mugen was when he got balls at Xray. So other than that, he makes the mains, but he should be winning those damn things. He should be up there with Ongaro and with Ronefalk and Robert, you know, but he's like barely making the mains. And now it rained and he was fast because he had the right tires on. So we were like cheering Savoya on. Imagine Savoya wins the Euros. You know, but then it stopped raining and then he was slower again. So yeah, I don't know. The Losi is like, let's look at all the cars and copy something off all the cars and that's gonna make a good car. That's my feeling of the Losi. Like, Jesus Christ. You have a huge company, hire someone that races and knows what they're doing. Like, they used to have such innovative designs and great designs, and now they're just floundering around. I don't know. I'm as offended by looking at a Losi as Anthony's when he looked at my dirt bike with no stickers on. Lol, no, he didn't make the semis. But do you make the main? Oh, the Euros? Fuck no. What does that have to do? That's such a dumb argument. Like, you talk about someone or something and then you're like, well, what did you do? That's such a lame argument. Anthony, I'm disappointed in the level of comments here. Any comments on the MP10? Well, yeah, so what I was talking about earlier, how the MP9 was so stable and easy that it kind of made it a bit slow. With the MP9, they tried to change that. So the MP9, they've made changes to where the car will be a bit more responsive and it will carry more corner speed. So I think the goal with the MP9 has been to kind of keep it similar, just make it carry more corner speed naturally, so it will be faster. So they have the wide pivot in the rear and other changes to the steering and that kind of crap. What do you think of the Techno? Well, the Techno used to be really crap, and I don't know, I haven't tried it now in a while. So just too narrow and too nervous and too hard to drive. Similar problem like front and rear end not speaking the same language. Weak banter from Anthony, yeah. Shoot guns with me again at RCGP. Yeah, we can go shoot some guns. Maybe we can have Keenan as a target. A 2014 XB8 geometry, ball plus link on the front and standoff link on the rear. That's the one that Savoia was fast with. I mean, it's like it's a more adjustable pivot ball. I like that. I don't know why they switched from that. How do you keep your hat so clean for so long? Jesus. Overdrive. I haven't run overdrive now, but I actually want to try just one tooth overdrive. So 45-14 in the rear, 44-14 in the front. Serpent, I think Serpent is a really underrated car. It's really good. If I had to pick between Serpent and HB, I'd pick Serpent. They're super close, but Serpent is like mechanically built better, put together better, won't wear out in 5 minutes. And yeah, similar handling. I would definitely go that way. If you have Durango cars, I'll accept them because we have some ideas for some videos we need to shoot here. JQ needs 17.5 front hubs. I'm sure you can get the Kyosho ones to fit. Okay, I have to go. I got more important things to do right now than talk about RC cars with all you nerds, okay? Anthony, I don't know what you're talking about. He can't race, he has to pit Max Mert. Keenan, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna e-buggy myself out of this shit. E-buggy.